making warriors here, we're making leaders, and we are making paratroopers.
Year in and year out, the United States Army Airborne School stays extremely busy, carrying out a vital mission for America's combat capabilities.
The mission of the 1st Battalion 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment is to train all the nation's paratroopers, jump masters, and pathfinders. We run 3 schools here, one of which is a basic airborne course, 3 weeks in length.
Begin!
Before any airborne training begins, the students will first have to prove that they're physically up for the task by passing the required PT test.
For male soldier, there's a requirement to do 42 push-ups, 53 sit-ups in 2 minutes, and then the run is 15:54. For a female soldier, sailor, airman, or marine, the requirement is 19 push-ups, 53 sit-ups in 2 minutes, and then a 18:54 for the 2-mile run.
Day 1, given a physical fitness test, we usually have anywhere from 50 to 60 soldiers that do not pass that test. So that are probably our greatest challenges is for ground week, or the first week of the course.
The students who successfully pass the PT test and are deemed fit for the course will now begin their journey of becoming a paratrooper, starting with the basics.
Once the PT test is complete, they move over to Manfield and they'll start basically getting taught about the harness, the parachute itself, fitting and donning of both the T10 and T11. We've got the mock doors, which we teach the individual exit there, and it's a gradual progression.
We teach the very basics here: exiting the aircraft, landing properly, understanding your parachute, understanding how to use your reserve in case you have to, things of that nature.
Training, ingraining, and building muscle memory into the soldiers on every aspect of what they need to don parachutes, be inspected, do all the actions to load the aircraft, on the aircraft, exiting the aircraft.
And once they learn how to exit the aircraft, they'll also need to know how to land properly so they can avoid injury and hit the ground running.
Doing the parachute landing falls off for what they call a lateral drift apparatus, which is just a device that puts them a little bit higher in the air than off the ground, and they learn how to land left, right, front, and back.
After learning the basics, the students will then progress to the 34-foot towers, where they'll get their first real taste of what lies ahead.
Go! And then we move on to the 34-foot towers, which is really the biggest challenge. It's the first time that a soldier is really at a height. He's going to test you. You just got to rely on your training.
34-foot tower, a lot of the time, is when they really realize, hey, I'm afraid of heights here. And so they overcome some of that fear right away.
The big challenge is obviously getting over the fear of going out of the 34-foot tower is probably the first thing that they're having to deal with, and it's clearly an unnatural act. Again, it's baby stepping as much as you possibly can. 34 feet is not even close to the 1,250 feet that they'll jump, but at least it's a step in the right direction.
And taking that step builds their confidence and teaches them that they can conquer their fears and accomplish any mission.
We are instilling a paratrooper warrior ethos in everybody that comes through this course.
Go!
You're going to take all directions from this gentleman right here. He's going to tell you to let up, and he's going to tell you which set of rise you need to pull so that you can land safely. Arm one!
We call it Tower Week because everybody focuses on that 250-foot tower.
Welcome to Week 2 at Jump School, where these airborne students will get the opportunity to drop from those famous fort-bending attractions, the 250-foot towers. But first, they'll continue learning the basics.
We've got the suspended harness, which helps the jumper with the lateral drift, pulling a good 2-riser slip opposite direction and drift, getting that good prepared land attitude, so reinforcing that. And then we'll move over to the swing landing trainer, which is also a good apparatus for correcting any deficiencies prior to a parachute landing fall. Most injuries occur during the parachute landing fall, and it's keeping those feet and knees together.
The most significant part about the second week is learning how to land properly. Everybody knows the swing landing trainer and how evil that can seem, but it really builds in muscle memory of how to land properly with your feet and knees together, pulling the right slip. And it's the difference between having a good landing and a great landing in airborne operation.
And having a great landing also requires learning how to deal with and fix any issues that may arise while jumping.
Teach them how to avoid collisions and entanglements. Teach them if I'm drifting towards wires, how to get out the wires, trees, how to get out the trees, water, and they also get taught how to activate their reserve using the full drop method.
After improving their skills using the suspended harness and the swing landing trainers, the students progress to the mock doors, where they'll learn actions in the aircraft and mass exit techniques.
Teaching them not to rush the door, not to stall in the door, trying to get that 1-second interval between you and the jumper in front of you, and it's pretty much teaching them this is pretty close to what it's going to be like jumping out of the actual aircraft.
1,000, 2,000.
Once the basics are instilled, the students will return to the 34-foot towers and put it all into action.
They'll continue to jump out of the 34-foot towers. This time they'll do it with a mass exit technique. In other words, instead of one at a time, they'll jump 4 at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4, with about a 1-second interval between the jumpers.
If they can flow fluently Here in the 34-foot mock tower using mass exit technique, they're going to do it in a jump week.
After they've successfully completed all required mass exits, it's now time for the students to get their first real taste of what it's like to be airborne.
When we have good weather and we have the right amount of time and everything else, we like to try to get every student off the 250-foot tower.
We've got Sergeant Airborne that's going to activate the system to actually free you from the tower, and you'll go ahead and descent. And there will be a coach there coaching you down to pull that two-riser slip opposite direction and drift, and prepare for the parachute landing fall. It's a graded exercise, and it just helps enforce moving into the jump week, everything that we've taught throughout tower weeks.
If a student gets a chance to jump from that 250-foot tower, that is a great thing for them. And like I said, it is a big confidence booster.
Let up, let up. Right slip, pull your right center riser. Pull it deep in your chest and hold it. Feet knees together, and down center riser. Rings coming down, rings coming down, rings coming down.
If you can jump out of an aircraft and land safely on the drop zone, you can pretty much do anything in your military career.
It's the third and final phase of Airborne School, Jump Week, and these students are ready to put their training into action and exit aircraft.
They're excited from the day they get here until they finally get out and jump. I mean, it is the graduation, culmination part of the course. You know, it's what they came here for.
On jump one, there's a lot of apprehension with the student. I try to go through the harness shed and walk through and say, hey, how's it going? Get a feel for where everybody's at. Some people are excited, fired up, and ready to go, and some people are kind of questioning what they signed up for. So it's always a good time.
First thing Monday morning during Jump Week, the students will don their parachutes, get JMPI'd, and load onto the birds. They'll fly 1,250 feet over Fryer Drop Zone, and then it's go time.
Everybody's excited, they're ready to go, and those doors open up, and the eyes get big, get big, really, really big, and now it's time to go. They now know it is time to jump out.
That first jump is really intense. You don't really know what to expect, and you don't know what's going on, and you got all these things running through your head. But bottom line, whenever they call 30 seconds is whenever my adrenaline really starts pumping. That last call before you start going, before the guy gets the slap, decides to head out, and then once you start shuffling forward, you just make eye contact with that guy, and he's usually sitting there smiling back at you because he knows what you're going through. So it's really intense. Yeah, it's great.
The students will conduct 5 jumps this week, 2 Hollywood style without their gear, one of those with the new T-11 parachute, and 3 combat jumps with all their equipment, the last being at night.
There's always the fear of the unknown, the first night jump, so they're a little bit anxious, I guess you could say, but all of them are confident in their training.
It's really the way we intend to, if we're going to do airborne operations, gain some surprise against the enemy by inserting at night.
Airborne training instills the warrior ethos in students, which builds their confidence and shows them that they can accomplish anything.
The fear of jumping out of a plane is much like being in a gunfight or a firefight for the first time. You are looking fear in the eye and you're dealing with it, and you're dealing with it in such a way that you're taking control of your fears, taking control of the situations, and you're mastering it. And it will help them considerably when they go to combat. It helped me.
The 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment not only builds better warriors, but it also provides the United States military with a more capable fighting force.
It all boils down to capability. Do we do it every day in hostile territory? No, but it is a deterrent. A brigade combat team being able to deliver 800 to 1,000 paratroopers in somebody's backyard at a moment's notice, that is a deterrent.
Once the night jump is complete, the students will have earned their wings and it's on to graduation.
It's good. I have a lot of buddies that have done it, and it's good to finally join the ranks of being airborne qualified. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a good day today. It's a good start to a day.
Pull those risers deep in your chest, Airborne, and then execute a dynamic, fluid parachute landing fall.